Hey guys, welcome to Trust in the Drive podcast short. Today we got a special guest, Coach Flynn Clayman. He is a High Point University basketball coach, and he's here to give us a little bit of a background on what's going on with his life and what he does on his day-to-day to get the best players to play for High Point University. Flynn, what's up, dude? How you doing?
Man, doing good. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it, and excited to be here. Excited about HPU basketball and what we're building.
Yes, I've been around HPU my whole life, and I've never felt more hype ever than now about the basketball program. Back in the day, we used to do the Millis Center, which is currently now where the girls volleyball or the volleyball team plays.
Yep.
And now we got the Quabain Center, and that is an epic place for people to watch, basketball.
Unreal place. Arguably the nicest arena in the country.
For sure.
Not the biggest, obviously, but it's probably the nicest and most well done in the country. And if it's not, let me know what is.
Right.
I haven't seen it.
It's quite the venue, and really I have just enjoyed like last year we went and saw the guys and the gals play a lot of basketball. Went to like 10 or 11 games, and the halftime shows, which are going to be entertaining. But this is your first season as a HPU coach, right?
Yep.
Okay, and you came on the Huss bus, right?
Yes, I did.
The Huss bus. And so Coach Huss is the head coach, and Coach Flynn is helping kind of recruit. And like recruiting is big in the automotive industry too. So I'm interested in hearing what's the most that you look at when you're looking for a recruit, like maybe when you're interviewing, or I guess now you see a lot of the guys play on video before you even talk to them. Yep,
absolutely. I mean, you even sign a lot of players without ever seeing them play. When you're talking about it live, you'll just see their film. It's recruiting has changed a ton since I was a player. I was recruited multiple times at different schools, different levels. It's a totally different ballgame than when I even got into college coaching in the 17-18 season. With the transfer portal and all that, evaluating the total package of the kid you're looking at, their family, their character, their loyalty. When we're looking at, say, high school kids who have the ability to transfer now immediately and play, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm all about players having their rights and have the right to go play somewhere. Right, I fully support that. I've been through the struggles as a player, but for our interest of our program, we're probably more interested in a kid that's shown some loyalty to his high school program, to his club program, because that's probably going to translate to. And then when we're looking at a transfer player who maybe has 2 years left, we're probably looking at someone who needs to come in and impact right away. Are they physically ready? Is their skill level ready? Are they ready to come in and do things right away? Whereas a freshman who we feel will be around for a while, we might be willing to develop them for a year or two. But when you get in that portal, you really need to specify who fits your system, who has the character to do the things that winning plays, guys who will make the extra pass. We're definitely going to be a program that is built on playing unselfish, playing together. So that's a huge factor for us also, is just, do you show the things of being a good teammate and caring about the guy next to you, and that guy's going to return the favor to you. And that's kind of how it snowballs to having a good culture overall. Oh yeah,
I could see that for sure. So there's two kind of styles. Like you got like a early recruit that maybe you're getting out of high school, and then somebody that you're going to get out of the transfer portal. And what I would want to probably know if like my son or daughter was to play is the development and trust going to happen between the player and the coach? Yep. Because if you have that kind of trust, then the willingness is going to come into play for that person to be able to win ball games. And like one of the biggest things I think in our overall culture now in the United States is like, I think we lie to people or fib people into believing something, and instead of like being maybe more holding them accountable for building them up to be like an actual like better person, instead of just like loading their mindset to make them feel great even though they're not great yet. You know, like, do you see that coming out of like high school, where you have some guys that have just been told that they're so wonderful their whole life, and then they finally get to like a place where they actually got to compete, you know, and their ego gets beat down a little bit.
Well, it happens all the time, and it's you know, a lot of kids who peak real early and are getting a lot of attention, say 8th grade, 9th grade, they're on social media. It's unbelievable how many times those kids don't pan out just because it's too early. The kids who peak at the right time usually have the right characteristics outside of the game of basketball to have the work habits to have continued success. So that's definitely something that we look at too. It's all part of the evaluation piece. It's a deep evaluation. I don't think a lot of kids understand the depths we go to try to understand the kid and his support system. You're not just recruiting the kid, you're recruiting their support system. Who's going to be in their ear? What are they going to be saying? All those things are very important.
Yeah. I know, like, so you played a long career of basketball yourself. So you have that experience to kind of back you up onto like what the mindset is of the player. Well, like, what was like kind of your experience? Like, what did they teach you, and like what was molded into you so that you could become like this great coach like today? Like,
well, I don't know if I'm a great coach. I hope I am. I definitely wasn't a great player. I had definitely more downs than ups. And I think fighting through the adversity that I had in my career and finding a way is something that has translated to coaching, because like you said, these kids need to feel something deeper than just basketball. So I have a good understanding of that kid on the bench who maybe has an opportunity to really help the team, but it's not his time yet. Yeah. And I've also been in situations where I have an understanding of being the guy who gets to take all the shots and doesn't have to look over his shoulder. Just having that perspective on everyone on that roster, I had a good experience of being from the main guy to the last guy. Yeah. You know, and experiencing all that allows you to be a coach who can understand every player on your team and what they're going through, at least to some degree. You're never going to fully understand, but that's the key to really getting guys to play hard for you is reaching them on a personal level.
Good. Yeah, so like you're being extremely modest, I would say. Like, from your background, like, you have played professional basketball, which is, you know, one of the hardest things to do on this planet Earth that we're currently on. So you know, just the fact that you've gone to different countries all over the world and, you know, use this as your profession is something that, like, I don't think High Point has ever actually had, you know, before, like, where your experience is going to bring such a high level of play to HBU basketball, and I'm just thrilled to the gills to like see it.
Thank you. And you know, the reality of my career was I was never supposed to be a Division I player. It was a ton of sacrifice and work to get there. In the Division I level, I didn't have a ton of success. I had a lot of injuries. I ended up having to go to NAIA basketball to showcase what I could do, and then getting to go to Georgia, the country of Georgia, to play out of college was a great experience. And then it just kind of snowballed. And then the following year, I was playing in Israel in the top division. So it wasn't glamorous, but next thing I knew, I went from a kid who was really struggling in college and had injuries and was playing at an NAIA school to 2 years later playing against the EuroLeague champion Maccabi Tel Aviv and you know, guys like Joe Ingles who were still in NBA and all that at the professional level. Just that experience of fighting through the adversity I had is really what I use daily as a coach to teach these guys.
And like, you know, I think one of my big mentors that I follow who's molded me a lot, his name is Chris Collins. Like, shout out Chris Collins. Like, he has taken me from you know, being able to have like no experience at all, being a service director at at Ilderton Dodge, to now having like a pretty experienced staff and a good, you know, base of where I want to give like the customer like the best experience possible. And what Chris Collins always told me was we rise to the level of training that we have, and we fall to the level of expectations that we put on ourselves. So, like, you know, really it comes down to like the willingness, like that you just told me about. Like, you didn't have like all these great expectations to be like an amazing player. You trained yourself to be an amazing player.
Yes.
You fought through that. And if you can, I can't wait for that to be transferred into these young minds that are playing basketball, in our town. Like it's going to be amazing to see.
Absolutely. And that's every kid I can touch and try to help them kind of fight through the adversities that I went through and kind of reach a level that maybe they didn't think they could get to, or other people they didn't think they could get to. That's what you're really in coaching for. That's really the reward at the end of the day.
That's what it's all about.
Yep.
Coach Flynn, I was thinking one of the things that was, kind of reminded me about the people that maybe probably molded your past that I don't know much about is the program at Southern Utah, which is where you came from previously. And you had some like coaching experience there before you came to High Point, and y'all ended up, winning some games and really having a lot of success there. What part of, or what people at Southern Utah like helped you kind of get to where you're at today?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, like Coach Todd Simon, who's now at Bowling Green,
nice.
Bringing me on as a GA and eventually promoting me to, after 5 years, to associate head coach. And then
nice.
When he left, to the opportunity to be an interim head coach and coach 3 games at the Division I level. Without him, I don't think I would have had a chance. It's a hard business to break into. And what we did at SUU, when I took that job, they had never really won. No one had really moved up from there in terms of coaching. And everyone in that room, with Coach Simon included and myself included, were like underdog guys who, like I talked about in my playing career, had adversity. We all just kind of blindly believed that we could get it done, and it wasn't easy, but it was phenomenal. And learning from Coach Simon, seeing it bring up, because when he took that job, it was the lowest ranked program in Division I basketball. We finished being one of 18 programs in the country out of 365 to have 3 straight 20-win seasons.
Oh, that's huge.
And then, it just kind of parlayed into the last minute. He got a dream job back home where he could go back to his family and be close to his parents again after many, many years of being on the West Coast. And that was just an opportunity that was too good to turn down. And I got thrown into the fire of head coaching. And interim head coach is it's an interesting spot. The refs don't want to talk to you. The players are kind of used to something just a little different. They want to see what they can get away with when you're in Daytona Beach in the postseason on spring break too. It's not the easiest thing. But Coach Simon I just can't thank him enough. And then obviously the players there that took a chance on us,
they
stuck around. And they are the real reason that things happen for any coach. Tevian Jones is with the New Orleans Pelicans now. He's the first NBA player in the history of SUU. He stuck with us for 3 years. He could have went back in the portal and tried to be a graduate transfer, and just to see where he's at and what he's got to do, unbelievable. John Knight, who's playing in China. I mean, there's just so many guys. Mason Fawcett's a guy who came in for 5 years and was a backbone of our program. All these guys are playing professionally now, and I'm just really grateful. But that experience of coaching, being the man who has to make all the decisions, is just, you don't understand what that is until you're put in that spot. You think when you're sitting one chair over, but you slide over one seat, and it's just a whole different ball game when you're responsible for every single thing that's going on.
Yeah, and I would say, after watching you practice with your team, I could see how people can believe in you and believe in the program and get trust going, and you have to continue to give yourself some attaboys about being a part of their success, because I just see your grind, I see your focus when you're on the court, and it's amazing, dude. It's incredible.
I'm glad you see that. I think that's authentically who I am, and one thing I've learned just from the number of coaches that I've come across, great coaches. Like my high school coach, Rashid Hazard, he coached with Phil Jackson and won 2 championships with the LA Lakers. He was coming from working out Kobe to practicing with us. He really instilled in me that fire of you can achieve whatever you want. His father's jersey is retired at Pauley Pavilion. He was John Wooden's starting point guard for his first ever national title team. His father, and I just picking up on little nuggets. I remember being a freshman in high school and getting no minutes in an AAU game, and Walt Hazard, his dad, is sitting right next to me, and he tells me, you can be really good. You have a good fire, you have good size, you have good shooting. Just believe in yourself, but I believe you can be good. And those words from a great like that, who was an NBA first-round pick and has his jersey retired, those one word of encouragement to a player can lead to so much more than you even realize. But the point I'm making is I'm glad that you see that, because what I try to do with these kids every day is be authentic.
Yeah.
And every good coach that I've studied, they're their authentic self. They don't try to be something else. You can be a tough coach. You can be a coach who's kind of lax. You can be a coach who wants to play fast. You can be a coach who wants to play slow. Everyone is one with every different style of personality and every style of play. One thing that I think is consistent is players have to believe that you're real, that you're authentic, that you're in the fight with them, that you're not using them, that this is about a family atmosphere.
Dude, I know there's open tryouts right now for HV basketball, and I'm there. I'm about to go play.
All right.
I'm like, you got me. The willingness is like right here, right now, to go play ball. Like, I love it.
Hey, come on down,
dude. I love it. That's awesome. Cool. So there's going to be some challenges, though, that you're going to run into challenges like everybody does. But what do you think the biggest challenge is going to be with this upcoming season, being your first season? And what do you see, a hurdle that you're going to have to go through?
I mean, the obvious hurdle is we got out and we had to bring in basically a whole new team. We only had three returners.
There's three. Yeah, there's only three people.
Of those three, only two actually really played minutes last year. So no, this team doesn't have continuity, and continuity is something that you can't. It just takes time. You know, you can recruit and you can put talent together, but teams that have players that have been together for multiple years are just going to be a better feel for each other. But I feel confident that our guys are working their butt off. They're working twice as hard to try to make up time. We're not thinking about year 2, 3. We're thinking about year 1. We understand that it's not going to be easy with a bunch of new guys. That's going to be easily the toughest thing. But I am very confident that these players have the talent. It's just going to be a matter of them learning to play together. And
just getting a good rhythm and just getting kind of clicking.
Yep.
Like knowing where somebody's going to be and like a trust thing, or like someone's going to be there at the time that you need them to be there.
Yep.
And just having that ingrained in their mind.
You start seeing plays before the play happens. Those are how you really can be an unstoppable team. But there's just no way to fake the time and the reps together.
It just gives me goosebumps thinking about it, because sometimes as a viewer, I'll stand up and start cheering before. Because I've seen a play develop, and I'm like, dude, they're about to do an alley-oop. This is gonna go hard. I cannot wait to see this go down. And it's just it's goosebumps.
Yep, exactly.
We got a lot of goosebumps coming up in the HPU basketball season. So, okay, so the another thing a lot of viewers like me don't understand, and me and you have talked kind of about this offline, is the portal, where I want to know more. I want to understand that, where the portal is going to be a place where a player can register that's currently playing on a collegiate level, and then they can transfer. Has this been around for a while and I'm just now hearing about it, or is this a new thing?
It's a new thing, and the public perception of it in terms of social media or what you might hear, I don't think is very factual. It doesn't really cover what the portal is and the importance of the portal. The importance of the portal is it's giving players some rights that they needed to have. I felt like when I was a player, the coaches had all the power of what you could do. You couldn't, if you wanted to transfer for whatever reason, your coach could shut off any school from talking to you.
Oh, nice. So
you couldn't. They could determine what schools you were allowed to talk to. They had to sign off on that. So you can see where there's problems there. Sure, are there some kids that misuse the portal? Absolutely. I think the vast majority of kids in that portal either have been told to go in that portal.
Yeah.
Because of maybe they just don't live up to the expectation of their program or some other issue. Or they're kids who need it. They need another opportunity.
Right.
And the NCAA had changed. So the portal's somewhat new. You're talking, I think it's about 3 years old now.
And that's incredible, man, because it kind of brings the advantage to the skill level and the talent of the player, back to the surface. And I could see that getting buried real easily with some a coach that just didn't like the player in the first place. So he's just gonna almost take advantage of his position and discard that player. And that's not a fair, that's not a fair competition. We want to be able to compete on a fair level and have a competitive type of environment. And I would say that from what you just described to me, it's only going to make things way more competitive.
Oh, absolutely. And really, I mean, coaches who maybe weren't treating their players right, like they're starting to treat their players better.
Right.
You know, like good things, in my opinion, are happening. Is there some negative things? Sure. Do some kids leave good situations because they think the grass is greener because they're immature kids and they mess up their career? Sure. But the vast majority of the kids in that portal, that's not the deal. And it wasn't back in the day before the portal. It was just a word of mouth thing. If someone was transferring, there was no way, there was no database for coaches to see, and it just, there were agendas and where kids were allowed to go. And I'm happy that kids now are allowed to transfer one time and play right away. And I'm also happy that they can get it out there to everyone that, hey, I'm available. Who wants me?
Right. And now we have like a lot of international students too, and like a lot of people that didn't even know about High Point. They get to take advantage of coming to our town and making our city a better place. Mm-hmm. And like you're a vital part of that. And I think that's so cool to highlight too.
Absolutely. We have kids. I mean, just in this deal, we have kids from Ukraine and Canada and Lithuania,
stacked.
Cameroon, kids from all over. And it's that's the other good thing about sports. It's just seeing these different cultures come together and become, by the end of the season, they basically feel like family and brothers, and a lot of them will be lifelong friends, whereas without sports they would have never maybe even knew each other or understood each other.
Yeah, I got to this is a little side note, and I got to watch Flynn at work, and it was incredible, man. Like he had it, they were like putting tape on the ground, they were like running drills, they had the music going, like the energy was in the building. And one thing I saw that was it was like there was a layup drill that y'all were doing, that like you would think that the layup is like the easy thing to do, but like Coach Flynn was like, there's no way anybody's getting anything done here easily, like it's going to be hard in the time of being in competition. And if they miss the layup, what do they have to do? They had to go do the little stair climber thing. What is that thing called?
The Versa climber. We changed it now to towel slide, so they got to get on the floor, put their hands on the towel up and back.
Love it.
Just building habits.
Yeah.
You know, and it's unbelievable how quick those habits fix.
Yeah,
you know, and players, they don't want it in the moment because the punishment is not fun, but they want to be pushed, they want to be great, and they end up loving you in the end if you're doing the things necessary to help them reach their potential.
You're giving them results, man. That's what's like so cool. Is like I'm already seeing the fruits of your labor just in the whole program itself, and I'm so grateful that you're here and you're a part of our city, and I love being around this program so much, and I feel so a part of it because of y'all, and I thank you so much.
I'm happy to be here, and it's been great. Everyone's been so nice and welcoming, and it's just an amazing place so far.
Yeah, High Point, baby. Well, cool. Well, that's it, man. The Trust in the Drive podcast short on HBU basketball men's program is there's a lot to happen. We got the first game coming up, probably in like, I'm gonna guess November. Is that the
November 6th?
Like
we have an exhibition November 4th, and then our first official game is November 6th.
Okay, we're gonna dominate.
Yep.
The Big South, baby. Here we go. Watch out.
And the Big South tournament is in High Point at the Cubane Center. So,
dude, that's a huge news. That was a huge win where the Big South tournament, I don't think a lot of people like maybe know how big of a deal that is, but I could just be saying that. But like, that's a huge advantage for our team.
It's a huge advantage, and it's just showing the investments that Dr. Cubane and Dan Hauser have made. They have told us numerous times that everything at High Point is excellent except the men's basketball record. So we have a little pressure to get
They're hard on y'all here.
We're doing the best we can to get it going.
Cool. Yeah, we got a chance to win big, and we got the right players and the right team and the right coaches to do it. And I'm excited to watch it. And you know, Coach Flynn, thank you so much.
I'm excited too. I'm ready to roll. We're right around the corner. So.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. And again, let's go HBU. All my kids know the HBU song better than I do. So
they know it probably better than I do too. I don't want to tattletale myself. I probably need.
We're gonna be screaming it from the rooftops here come March Madness. So we'll talk to y'all soon. Thank you so much. Trust in the Drive, baby.